What was the weirdest black market in your school? Diddle paper. It's colored paper with a mouse drawn on it. But everyone collected them, no matter how old. And there were hundreds of different artworks. People had folders with protective covers, and depending on the motive and rarity you wanted to trade, you could get 3 to 4 other motives in exchange. It was wild. I just googled it and there are still collectors buying and selling them on the internet. Oh. Diddle stationery. One of my aunts had a stuffed mouse from that. Nice try. I'm never going to go look up Diddle. I know what'll happen to my targeted ads. Mountain Dew and Pepsi had a contest where college names were printed on the inside of the bottle caps. If that school won the NCAA March Madness tournament, you could send it in for the jersey of your choice from any school. Suddenly, a black market for caps with blue chip schools was born. I remember selling a Duke cap for $10, then turning around and buying 10 drinks from the vending machine. Reinvest. That's like my strategy at the blackjack table. Did you get a jersey or make bank or go bust? Our middle school tried to start a reward program. It turned out to be a fail of epic proportion. Wolf Bucks, names after our mascot. They were mini-sized dollars color-coded by value. Green was $1, red was $5, blue was $10, and a gold wolf buck, only accessible to the principal and assistant principal $50. Now the school bought erasers, pencil, notebooks. You could only buy with wolf bucks 1 pencil, 1 wolf buck. First failure, it was easy to copy. So kids started mass copying them. Okay, school got smart and said only accepting wolf bucks with your name and have your teacher's signature. Second failure, kept the same color, so kids would earn 1 legitimately, then the forgery started. Third failure, hyperinflation, during pep rallies. The principal started throwing golden wolf bucks. Eventually the school stopped resupplying the store. Everyone had hundreds/thousands of worthless wolf bucks. So they struggled with counterfeiting and hyperinflation. Our poor buck store actually had some good stuff in it, but the teachers would only really give them out to shit kids to reward them for not talking back, causing a fight, or bringing a knife to school on that particular day. I still accrued quite a few through trading away bits of my lunch, and near the end of the school year I bought an expansion pack for The Sims 2. When I got home to install it, I found that it was only the second disc. Not really a black market, but there was a pawn tape VHS days that used to do the rounds. There was a booking system and everything. You couldn't have it for more than 2 days. A booking system, smiley face. I was friends with a kid in middle school that had a descrambler. Dude would buy up blank VHS tapes and record like 10 minutes of porn off the Spice Channel and sell for like $10 a tape. Gave $2 for tape returns for new content. He was a Greek kid with a bunch of other Greek kids in the school, formed a Greek mafia with him as the godfather. Being a big kid that played football, I was one of the Greek mafia's associates, but alas, I could never become a made man. He made so much money off selling VHS porn tapes, when we hit 16, he was able to buy himself a pretty sweet Camaro. Once the internet came about in 1998 is when his business ran dry. By that time he was into other shit. One of my friends sold Starburst from his locker. 10 cents for 2. If he liked you, you got 2 from the normal bag. If he didn't like you, you got 2 from the bag that only had yellows. I kind of like the yellow ones. This wasn't a weird one but a genius one for a tween. A girl set up a little business out of a box of stationery, writing forged letters from parents. She had all different paper, pens and pencils of every kind, and could write in convincingly accurate tone for the content of the notes depending on which kid they were for. She used different styles of handwriting and different styles of punctuation and language too. She'd even fudge the spelling if she thought the kids' parents weren't great at it. She grew up to be incredibly educated. I look back and see that as her first moment of evil genius. It definitely suggested she would go on to brilliance one day, and she did. I am also a master at forgery. I have all the certificates to prove it. Well, what did she end up doing for a living? This happened in Los Angeles in the mid-80s. Student bus passes had to be purchased by the 5th day of the month, or you were stuck having to pay daily. The date had passed, so I found a guy in my high school willing to trade another student's pass which he had stolen. I traded a tangerine and half a pack of cigarettes for a copy of Penthouse. Then I traded that issue with a pizza from the cafeteria for the bus pass. That sounds like the episode of Atlanta where they trade a cell phone for a sword, then sword for a dog, then went to breed the dog to make money off the pups. The Paperclip Project. In early elementary school we had a market for mud. Different groups of kids would claim areas around the school as their mud pit and put their brand of mud in Ziploc bags to be traded with other groups for different bags of mud. We were the clay mud group, and I had about 3 kids in the muck scooping it into bags or running to the water fountain to get fresh water to make more mud on dry days. I would be the one to go make the deals with the other groups. We traded a lot with the gravel mud group because clay mud and cement mud are both good for building or some shit. Who knows? It made so much sense at the time. The principal and staff eventually stepped in to end it because all the kids came back to class filthy every day and giant holes littered every field and playground. It made so much sense at the time. I loved this. I remember things like this making so much sense as a kid, and as an adult it's just hard to remember why it made sense. But that feeling is still there. I think it's called imagination, but I've been paying taxes and a mortgage for too long to be sure. Did you have to beat any rival groups unconscious, dig a deep hole in their pit and bury them alive to send a message? This one girl forged apology letters if you brought her something one of your parents wrote. I never used her services myself, but we were, and still are, good friends, and I gotta say, she's talented as hell. I literally can't tell which one is mine after she copied something I wrote, including signature. It's baffling. She's the kind of person DiCaprio would approach if he needs a shapeshifter in a dream heist. Lol, when I was in 3rd grade I was just not understanding math, like at all. So I decided that I wasn't going to do it anymore, so I gave up trying in class and just didn't do any math homework. My teacher sent a note home with me to my parents that basically said, your kid is struggling and not doing his homework, are you okay with this? And there was a space for my parents to sign off that they'd seen the note. I managed to hide the note from my parents and forge my dad's signature exactly as he would have written it and turned it in the next day. Teacher didn't believe that my parents wouldn't give a damn about their kid not doing his homework, and I had to go into a parent-teacher-student meeting a day later and sit there and get reamed out by the teacher and my parents for forging the signature. Still didn't get any help with math though, but on the way home Dad told me he was actually very impressed at how well I did it, and I probably could have gotten away with it if I hadn't used a purple-colored pencil to sign it with, but I should never do it again. I can still forge signatures really well, but I have no need to do it, so it's kind of a useless superpower lol. Bottle caps, I still don't get it, but back in primary school, they were collecting bottle caps for some kind of charity. Google it, it's still ongoing around the world. So what happened was everything was going well, the teacher got everyone excited about it and kids were collecting it en masse. Kids would go around raiding for it. From the trash. From their school lunches. From their homes even. A teacher got a call from a concerned parent because her kid hijacked all the bottle caps from their kitchen. So that's stage 1 of the weirdness, it's what happened afterwards. Stage 2, kids started trading with these plastic bottle caps. We would trade pens, homework and even Pokemon cards for bottle caps. Worthless bottle caps. There wasn't even a prize for whoever could collect the most caps. It just became a currency out of nowhere. Let's talk about stage 3 of the madness. Theft. There was no bank of bot caps at our school. There was the donation box and there were your cubbies. Those who didn't want to lug their stash back home every day left it in their cubbies, and some kid decided to steal people's caps and from the donation box. The great theft of Class 3B. But it was probably for the best, because overnight the madness subsided. The teacher ended the bottle cap donation. She was sick of the bugs that were gathering and licking up the dried up sugar juices from the caps anyway, but mostly horrified at how her little charity drive devolved into a socio-economical experiment. Just like that, the bottle cap market crashed. Preparing for nuclear war, huh? I met someone collecting caps for charity once, and by chance I'd been throwing my beer tops in a basket in the kitchen, as had housemates and guests. I had near 4,000, my bro counted and wrote the number on the fridge, after like 2 years worth. I've been doing the same for 11 years since, just waiting for this charity drive to pop up again. I have containers full. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.